What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Retro Ground Podcast. And in front of me, we have Erick, the owner of Games for Us, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, man. All right, man.
It's a pleasure to be here in my own store, but more, thank you for being a guest here and having me on your podcast.
Hey, man, thank you again, bro. You were actually one of the first stores that we actually did a walkthrough, and showed everyone your store, but it didn't look nothing like this at all. At all. It looked completely different. And for starters, I want to start off with the question, how did the name come about, Games for Us? How did they come about, bro?
That's a very simple one. We wanted to make a name where both children and adults or people who might have disabilities that can't read very easily could pronounce our name without a question. In this case, we made it even easier by adding a number in there, so it's even less letters for you to even spell. So let's just say if I called this Erick's Retro Extravaganza, would sound cool, but it also would be a long thing to type up.
That's a mouthful.
Type up and to find me. Where Games for Us is something where even a kid, even if they can't read, they'll just be like, Games for Us? Small letters, small words. Easy to comprehend.
Was it inspired by something?
Well, the letters were inspired by the Super Nintendo font. Everybody loves that era of gaming, and therefore I do as well. I'm a 90s kid, so I love all that kind of stylization from back in the day. So I wanted to bring a little bit of nostalgia with the logo and give a tribute to Toys R Us because come on, who didn't shop there? We all loved it, and it sucks that they aren't here.
Yeah.
But that's what corporations do. They take something very beautiful and they kill it over time, and we're trying our best to curb that as much as possible. But yes, Toys R Us, Super Nintendo, combine them, and you get Games for Us. Yes, sir.
Nice, I like that. Was there any other name before Games for Us, like Arrow's Retro Collection?
We went through all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, you get your standard one where you just put your name in front of it.
I think everyone likes to put their name, right?
You want to be proud of it, but the thing is if you're putting your name in front of it, you're putting yourself over emphasis of what the store represents. It's not about me. It's about the history and the retro that we represent here, rather than what is my story. It's the story about what the products are in here and the history that they have to tell.
Gotcha. How many years do you have under your belt as a reseller? Like reselling video games?
I've never been someone who goes to conventions. I am not a normal reseller that goes to events.
So you don't do pop-ups, you don't do conventions?
I don't. What we do here is just solidly just at the store. My experience beforehand was working at other local game shops. And
where did you work before, if you don't mind me asking?
It was another game store in San Bernardino.
Okay.
Cool spot. We learned a lot of things from there, but it also showed me that I had a skill and a talent to be in this industry.
And to be independent.
And not just that, but to also kind of see the deficiencies that are in the market, because I was a collector before a seller of any sort. Actually, my experience mainly comes from working at the store and being a collector, not being a reseller. I was selling because I'm working at a retail business, so I am an employee there. But my passion started because I was collecting while I was in there. Not collecting not just from that store, but going to every game shop or event that I can go, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and so on and so forth.
So you did your homework.
Eventually, I became so fluent with the industry that I was known everywhere, mainly as a Sega guy. So I love Sega. It's no surprise. I'm not wearing the home merch, but ask any other game store around. They probably know me for buying the Sega stuff, the Atari stuff, and trying to support the local vendors as much as I can. And now that I'm in this position, I'm thankful for being here, and I can also give credit to all of those who I was meeting along the way to get to this point.
Gotcha. So what would you say, like how many years as a reseller?
Okay, so reselling, working in that industry probably at least 4 years now.
4 years?
Yes.
Including the years that you've
the collecting and the years are going together.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Erick, how many years have you been reselling video games?
Okay, so I've been in the market with video games for about 4 years now.
Okay. Does that include the time that you've been here reselling? Or?
This would at least include our first year. So 3 years prior, and then we're about to complete our first right now. here at Games for Us. The other 3 years I had was in another game store in San Bernardino.
Okay.
I started off with small beginnings. I started helping out only on the weekends, maybe like a few hours on the weekends, and then it became kind of a semi full-time job, and eventually it became where I was kind of the influence of that store, and that's when I realized that maybe the community is actually demanding me to step up and to do something independently.
Gotcha.
And as a collector beforehand, I was already doing that at the same time. I started the working retail with games at the same exact time as I started collecting. It's kind of a weird conundrum where I was always fascinated by video games, but it was one of those ones where you didn't take it serious until you actually get into the realm of it. And yeah, that's how we got into this point.
Wow. Okay. What got you into wanting, or what inspired you to open up Games for Us, man?
Great. So first I'll start off with how did I even get into video games in the first place. It was actually pretty humbling where all of us have our childhood system.
Yeah.
Mine was the Pt.1.
Okay.
I'm really drawn to that. But I never thought, hey, I'm going to get back into it. The retro industry was barely kind of starting to boom.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I might want to play my own childhood one, but I'm not going to get anything else but the PS1. And it wasn't actually until my mom kept inquiring about the Atari when she was a young girl. She would always tell me.
Did she play the Atari?
Yeah, she would have an Atari, but they didn't have the opportunity because they didn't have a lot of money to buy more games or to have more uninterrupted time because they have to share it amongst a lot of individuals. Long story short, she told me that she misses that more than anything and she didn't get enough time with that. So what I did was I searched one up on Craigslist when that was still a popular thing, and now it's like Marketplace and OfferUp. But
yeah.
I was on Craigslist. I bought myself a Sony PS1 bundle and an Atari bundle at the same time. So
Okay.
I was able to satiate my nostalgia and hers.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of turmoil at that time, personally, where that system, I couldn't have it laid out anymore. I let her play it. She enjoyed it for a few minutes, but like I said, there was some other turmoil going around the household where that system was not safe being out in the open. So I told her, I'll take it upon myself, keep it safe, and store it for you until whenever you want to play it, I'll set it up for you. Just let me know. And it came down to one point where she just enjoyed it, but it ended up becoming kind of an aesthetic in my room at some point. And then so what I was left with was this big old display with only two systems that had nothing to do with each other, a PS1 and an Atari 2600.
Yeah.
Atari 2600 Junior to be precise.
Oh wow.
And then so I was just looking at this, and then this is when I first got my new place at that time too. So I was just like, I have this whole empty canvas, and I have nothing to put in there or to do with it. So I was like, well, I love this. I love the Sony PS1. That's my part. But getting into that Atari and buying it got me inspired to learn more about it. And by that point, I was already watching stuff like AVGN, NES Pat,
Okay.
and other YouTubers who were always very influential about the retro industry before it even blew up. So I was already inspired to get into games that were preceding my age and getting into things in history that weren't even pertaining my era. So all of that wraps in together to give me a passion for history and all the things that are retro, not just gaming, but computers, electronics, radios, televisions.
Vinyls, cassettes, VHS. Yeah, I see that.
Really,
you have a lot of it in your store.
What stands in history as something impactful for us. We even have the first computer here, guys, like the first portable computer. The first telephone is chilling in the back. We didn't put in we'll get some B-reels of that, but we do have a lot of relics in here that are not just pertaining to 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and beyond.
Yeah.
We actually go further than that, all the way up to as far as 1800s if we can.
Wow.
But
wow.
We have a deep appreciation, and that's how we got into this position. That
Got it.
It's a puzzle. I fit perfectly in that spot right there, and I'm glad that I have this opportunity to be able to try to make a difference in this industry that we are in right now.
My next question to you would be, is it difficult owning a video game store?
Oh, of course. Any business that you choose to be individually starting is going to be is difficult, even if you have partners involved. I don't, but I can understand where some people will see that as an advantage.
You think having a partner allows the weight, like financially, or do you think they partner up?
It's
just in terms to help each other out when it comes to time? Because I know Wednesdays you're closed. Is that a day you decide to close because you want to take the day off and kind of decompress from the business, or?
It's a double-edged sword, really, because although I am alone, and I do have the brunt of all the weight on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the creative liberty to take any steps that I need to do to improve this business on a fly, at a moment's notice. Whereas, so if I had another partner along with me,
You would have to ask them to make decisions.
any decision I gotta make, I gotta run it by to them, and maybe they have a different point of view.
Yeah.
Maybe I want
they have a different vision. Yeah.
maybe I want purple lights. The guy wants red. Maybe I want video games on this side and cards on that side, but he wants it in reverse. Or maybe he wants it all together. There's
Yeah.
going to be differences in that, and
It's going to make it a little bit difficult, right?
And as for regarding the one day that we are closed Wednesday, that is not only just to give myself 1 day worth of rest,
Okay.
just so I could be coming back energized for the next week, but it's also to give me time to restock. I can't be closing here intermediately while people are here. So therefore, I had to dedicate my 1 day off to handle all the mundane stuff that is in my personal life, and regarding the store's inner workings, like
Wow.
restocks, cleaning, and so on and so forth.
Is 1 day, do you think is 1 day enough, or would you at some point consider taking 2 days off?
Eventually, as we grow, we're still under a year, and we are.
Oh, wow. It's
we're-
been under a year?
We're still under a year. From that
Wow.
last video we did on YouTube,
Wow.
we're probably
8
what,
months, right? Yeah.
8 months.
I think I remember checking it last time. It was like 8 months ago we uploaded that video. man.
Exactly. We didn't start letting people in here till October.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we got the business around August, but we had to handle a lot of inner workings before we even let things handle here, like security, product acquisition, displays, and many other things, small little minute details. You'll never get every little detail when you're opening up a business. You could write it. I blueprinted it so much and try to think of everything, and you'll never get everything. It's every day you will learn something new and adapt to it.
And let me ask you something. Now that you said you didn't open up until October, right? What was the first sale, bro? How much money did you make?
The
on your
first sale is
sale?
actually from one of our very close friends, Super Nintendo Tony.
Oh,
He came
Super
in.
Nintendo?
Yes, sir. He came in here, and I don't recall specifically what he bought, but I remember he wanted to spend like over $20.
That's cool.
And I told him straight up, no. Buy something small for your first try, because I want to commemorate it. And if it's something where it's like $20 and above, that's going to be tempting as a small business to want to actually utilize that. Where as a $5 bill, I can appreciate it, and we can move on and just
Gotcha.
observe it.
So he gave you cash?
He gave me cash. He gave me a $5 bill, and it's actually framed, and it's
No
it's
way.
in our main display.
That's so cool.
So we do show appreciation for all you guys on the little things that you guys do. It all builds up. And again, shout out to my boy, Super Nintendo Tony, for that, because
shout out to Super Nintendo, man.
yeah, so
I got him on the podcast too, man. He's such a
Exactly.
good guy,
I
bro.
did see that.
Such a
really
great
cool
guy.
dude.
Such an
Really
awesome
cool
guy.
dude. He's here in our events. He's one of the vendors that shows up, and always great values, great personality, and always been here since day one. So thank you guys all who has been here since day one. We'll continue to show you guys appreciation till the end of time, as long as we're here.
Cool. Going back to him being your first sale, what's been your biggest transaction?
Biggest
One time.
transaction?
Yeah, one transaction.
Well-
just the one customer that comes in, spends $1 million, $2 million, whatever. What's the biggest transaction?
Well, here at Game Source, we try to be value friendly. We try to our best to keep a lot of items that are not over $100. It's not that we're not looking for the rare stuff. It's that we understand that many people are casually starting their journey into the retro.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
So
You make it affordable for them to come and buy.
we do
video
have some
games.
expensive stuff here
Of
and
course.
there, but I would say 90% of it is under 100 to keep it attainable for the masses. Because I also have limited display space, so if I use all of that for expensive stuff, it's also probably going to alienate those people who are barely jumping into it for the first time, and they're going to say to themselves, I just want to play my original Nintendo. I don't want to spend $60 per game, $100 per game, and so on and so forth for these really rare ones. So
You're basically tailoring to people who are just starting their venture.
So instead of me
Retro
getting like the
video games.
Earthbound that's over $300 kind of thing like that, which is a great collectible, and I know people are looking for it, I'd rather get like the basic Marios, the basic Zeldas, and the little games here that people are actually readily trying to play. Even Pokemon can be expensive, but we try to try to have them in here regardless. So digressing back to that question that you said, what is the most valuable sale that we've had? It's no surprise it's Pokemon. It's a big industry. Pokemon is an enormous industry, and that's why it's expanded so much in our inventory, because it's so high demand we can't ignore it, and we want to try to give the best value for that. But that aside, it was about almost $1,500, and that was a couple of Evolving Skies boxes, a couple of Pokemon Center boxes,
Wow.
and there were ETBs, by the way, not booster boxes. And it
That's
all
cool.
added up. And what's even crazier is I'm over here trying to protect these things and keep them in plastic cases
Yeah.
to make sure that the customer preserves it in his collection. And
Of
he's
course.
like, no, I'm just going to open it. So if you guys got it like that, by all means, have fun. But again, our main goal here is to make sure we don't alienate the little guys who are trying to get into this for the first time. It's not about spending $1,000. It's about having fun and getting into what you love.
Yeah. And that client or that customer, how do they find you?
How do they find me? Honestly, I think it was probably through word of mouth, like many others. It's all about word of mouth. We were a small shop, and we're making a big impact through our actions. We don't post a lot amount of stuff. What we do is we show you guys what we're doing. When you walk in here next time, you're gonna see the impact that we're trying to put here. Rather than show off and highlight and always gloat about what we're doing better, I want you guys to just come here and experience it and see for yourself all the hard work that goes into this business.
Wow. And as a store owner, what do you look forward to on a daily basis?
How can I improve?
How can you improve?
How can I improve?
Okay.
There's no such thing as a day that you're perfect. Even as well as it can go, even if I have a $10,000 day, it doesn't matter. You can still ask yourself, what can I do to make that customer's experience more efficient? How can I make it faster for them to find what they're trying to get?
Yeah.
Did I give them the best value? Did I make them smile when they left? Not like saying a joke, but giving them a good customer experience. Not being alienating in the sense of like, you walk into a store and like, let's just say GameStop, you walk into GameStop and the first thing, they don't even greet you. They just give you a straight face and just like, what do you want? Or if you ask them what you want, they will be like, oh, fine, let me go check the back. And then you feel like you're uninvited.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever tried breaking in to your store at all?
Well, of course, because we're starting to get more and more valuable items in here, we take it absolutely serious for security. Not just for us, but for the customers as well. We want inside and out of this building to be secure and a safe space for everybody.
Gotcha.
So I mentioned we didn't open up for the first 2 months.
Yeah.
From August to October, we were closed because I got all the displays in here, but we didn't have anything security-wise. So there's no point in me bringing stuff in here when it's wide open for everybody to look through the window and possibly cause harm to what we're trying to do here for the community.
Yeah.
So, no, we have not been broken into.
That's
I cross
awesome,
my fingers. We knock on wood.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen.
Yeah. You have a lot of cameras though. I think you even knew when I was here, right? When I pulled up.
We're able to see you guys from the outside.
Yeah. And I think I kind of noticed like, oh, he knows I'm here. I'm on the phone. And how much money would you say you've invested into games for us? Because the last time that we were here and we filmed the video, it looked nothing like what it looks now. I mean, you have an Atari, you have a break room. I mean, just even the restroom, man, it looks completely different.
That is absolutely true. When we first started here, we just started off with the very bare minimum what we needed to start off. We're very transparent on what it takes to start a business. That way you guys can be inspired to start your own. I projected this business was going to be about $35,000 to start, just to even get ourselves up there.
Wow.
I scrounged up to only $20K, guys. So don't let that discourage you from saying, like, I don't have enough from what I really think is comfortable. Yes, it plays it more risky, but it also forces you every day to innovate and try your best and not give up. It only gives you a reason not to give up because you don't have oxygen or wiggle room to mess up. It only lets you have success as an option, not failure. Even if you do fail, it makes you get up and try again.
So you started off with like $20,000.
$20,000 is what we started off with, but
and does that include the lease, the inventory?
That is everything. When
shelving, the glass displays, all that.
Once we finally got done with all that basic essential stuff like security, building,
inventory,
displays, and inventory, we're already at 17 out of the 20K. So at that point, you have $3,000 to get a product, and that's where the next hurdle comes in. This whole running a business is all about hurdles, but it's also about learning how to, again, not letting that keep you down.
Yeah.
I see a challenge as something to overcome, not to let it bring me down. So again, for all you guys, don't feel discouraged. Do what you got to do, and every day will get better as long as you keep the mindset for that. If you keep negativity, you're not going to grow, and never pass that on to others because they're looking up to you, especially if you're trying to be alone as a business owner.
Yeah. No. So the $20,000 that were invested into Games for Us, was this money that was saved, inheritance? Did you get a loan? Did you borrow money?
That's true.
I mean, what? How did you get the $20,000?
This was a combination of both savings, and it was actually my personal inheritance from my father. He had it as a rainy day fund or as my college fund when I was going into engineering.
Okay.
But again, guys, hey, I dropped out of college. But guess what? We're a business owner now, and I didn't let that get me down. And we turned our something bad into something very good. Where I was working at that other game store, unfortunately, I saw that my talents were being not taken advantage of, but not utilized to their full
potential.
Potential. So I had created differences with that store, and therefore I had to separate. And when I did separate, I had a fork in the road. Do I go back into my career in engineering, or do I try to listen to the community? Because as soon as I left that store, everybody was messaging me saying, like, where are you going? We want you. Why are you stopping? We want you to do what you're doing, keep being part of the community. But it wasn't my store, so I couldn't stay dedicated to that. As I was in that fork in the road, I was already about to go and do my training and all that stuff, and my father confronts me and he says, why don't you do what you just left? And I tell him, Dad, this is an insanely complicated business.
And you had no idea he was about to give you your inheritance money.
Well, okay, so he told me, he's like, okay, he's always mentioned this to me, and like, because he goes traveling, goes traveling a lot, and he told me, he's like, if anything ever happens to me while I'm traveling, you have that inheritance money as a rainy day. So if I pass, that's for you. That is your your life insurance stuff. That's what you got to use.
The 20 G's, the $20,000.
That's what you got to use. He said, you got one chance, use it wisely. I'm only going to do this. I love you, son, but don't mess this up. Because
do you have any siblings?
Not between any, like my parents and I are between my mom and dad, I'm the only child. But I do have older siblings between them having other kids with other people. Got it. They're all 10 years older than me, so I'm pretty much the baby, and I'm the single guy out of it.
Did you ever get tempted to pull the 20 G's before that, like to buy?
No, not at all. Because I never looked at that money. If anything, I never wanted to receive that money, because if I received that money, that meant something bad happened.
I see what you're saying, man.
So it was one of those.
So that's right. When you're so passionate and you talk about helping people out and educating them about what you know, it's because this money is your inheritance, and it's your sweat and tears pouring into Games for Us to help the community, man.
Yeah. Again, he told me, this is your inheritance. Use it wisely. But first he didn't tell me how much the money amount. It was never. He just told me I have something separated.
Oh, you didn't know it was $20,000.
I didn't know it was $20,000. He just told me this is separated for you. When there's a rainy day, I'll let you know how to get it. But then he sees me in this situation and he says, son, why don't you open up your own? Do your calculations. Do what you do best. Move money around, son, and let me know how much it comes out to. And I told him, Dad, it's gonna be $35,000. He looks at me in the eyes and he says, go back to the drawing board. You only have 20.
When getting the 20, when you got the inheritance money, did you see it kind of go by fast with the slat walls, the inventory? And I'm just thinking from my aspect, from my point of view, you're the professional here. When the money was going out so quick, was it something you're like, hey, this is normal because this is what this stuff costs?
Well, it's my first time doing it, guys, so there's no such thing as normal. You can only adjust accordingly. But I'll tell you what helped a lot is being humble, knowing that you don't need new displays. Being humble that you don't need the top of the line equipment up front to get going. Yeah, like all the displays I got are used. I painted them by hand, and that's also a lot of work too. You pour your heart, soul, and blood, sweat, and tears into this stuff. In this case, you saw me picking up the inventory on the side. You saw me going to the other stores and all this stuff, trying to find the best. And as I started getting the glass displays, you saw that I didn't even have them in the store. I didn't have a building yet before I got the displays. I just knew that there was a goal in mind, and I know that as long as I get everything prepared, it's gonna
because shout out to Super Nintoni, because the only reason I found out about Games for Us was because he reposted you, new video game store. And I saw your venture when you first started displaying all the candies, all the snacks. And then the next step was like, hey, guys, I got the keys. And you shout out the landlord. And I'm like, hey, man, this guy really took that leap of faith. Like, honestly, it was almost like the impression I got was like hey man, I'm doing it, and it was like, man, this guy's doing it. Like he's really doing it. You know what I mean? And when I came here for the first time, I'm like, man, I honestly anticipated you spending more than what you actually said you spent $20,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the question, like, obviously, is it a normal thing now that you look at it? Was there anything different you wish you could have done in your journey? Was there anything different? Did you wish? So do you wish, hey man, I wish I would have bought new cabinets, new slat wall, new inventory, anything that would have changed, or you would have just gone on the same?
I think everything was done as best as possible within the restraints that we had.
Okay.
In the sense that I think it's better for us to start humble than to have all the best stuff and the best equipment, because again,
You made it work.
It shows that we persevere through a hard time rather than just finding the easiest solution, which is just having someone already give you the answer. In this case, I had to figure out the answers, find them out, make the equipment and all the stuff suit the building's needs rather than what my needs were. And in the end, it flowed perfectly because this building was built in 1900, exactly 1900.
Oh, wow.
So this building has a lot of history to talk about. So it's not perfect. None of us are perfect. So just as this building is not perfect, neither are my displays, and neither are anything that is, as you're building this, nothing is perfect.
And you just make it work.
All you can do is persevere and keep pushing. Because
and I think that's a good way to look at it. You just make it work. And that's the same thing that I've done with my podcast. I don't have anything fancy, right? I don't have the different angles. You know, it's just I just make it work. Yeah. And I think it's a good thing to just make it work, man. Keep it simple. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever heard, but they say, you know, that simple is easy, you know? Less is more.
If you give the people what they want and you do it with passion, it'll show and it'll reflect. And people will imprint on that. And they'll understand that the effort is going in there is actually... It's like I mentioned, I guess my easiest way to say it, guys, is action speaks louder than words. That is the simplest way you can look at what you're trying to do in life. You can gloat all you want that you're doing the best and this and that, but in person or in reality you're not actually fulfilling those things. Then what's the point? I could tell you guys that I am the best store on the planet, but I know that to be humble, that is not true. I know that there's plenty of things to improve on. And that's the fallacy that we're not trying to present here, is that nothing is perfect. Every day we'll get better. And we are doing our best for the community, you know, and trying to make a change.